All right, we're going to talk about shareholder advocacy, and then we're really going to focus on this year, 2023's shareholder advocacy resolution, shareholder resolutions that are out there this year. Why don't we start? I'll share my screen. We'll go through the PowerPoint. So shareholder advocacy, I'm Bill Holliday.
Hi Bill, and I'm Luis, and this is courtesy of AIO Financial.
Yep, there we go. So shareholder advocacy, it's when you're a shareholder, when you own shares, you're a part owner of the company, and you have the right to make proposals, make changes. You can make significant changes to companies as shareholders. If we just all get together, we can make a bigger change. But there's already a lot of funds, a lot of organizations making some good change and doing some good resolutions. To be able to do a shareholder resolution, it's pretty low bar to be able to propose one. It's just a pain. So we don't, as financial advisors, we're not engaging with companies or writing shareholder proposals or trying to get support for the proposals. We leave that to our investments. So there are organizations like As You Sow, which you can donate to, but there are also funds like through Green Century, a nonprofit that's very active, Trillium, First Affirmative, Domini, Calvert. They're engaging with companies and bringing up these resolutions to make changes. The rules are guided by the SEC. All right. And you're not changing ordinary business. We'll talk about the types of proposals that are being done right now. But we've seen a continued growth in environmental proposals. I'm going to just pull up my notes here for a second. So we're seeing that there were 542 environmental, social, and sustainable governance shareholder resolutions for the 2023 proxy season. And the focus continues to be on climate change, reducing emissions, and there were significant number of proposals around reproductive health. And that's because of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
That's right.
Yeah.
Capital markets now consider environmental and social risk. Corporate governance, sustainable markets lead to better outcomes for stakeholders.
Yeah.
And even though well-funded groups attack ESG practices and inject politics into essential businesses, well, proxy season lets investors align with values, and we will talk about soon.
Yeah, that's a good point. There has been an attack on shareholder engagement, and Biden used his first veto to shoot down this Republican proposal to not allow environmental social governance screening and investments, which is crazy. You know, the more information, the better for your investments. I was going to say most of the proposals want companies to either set net zero greenhouse gas goals or, be Paris compliant, a transition plan to get out of carbon has been the focus of a majority of these proposals. So I think some of them, emissions reporting and setting targets, that's a big one. Climate financing, impact reports, deforestation, environmental management, plastics, agriculture. Those are the big environmental categories for these proposals. Let us hit social issues. I guess environmental social governance, your ESG. For social, they are looking at restricting animal testing, corporate political influence. That's a big one. And I think a very important one is disclosing what kind of influence they're having.
If any.
Oversight, working conditions, and reproductive rights fall in here. And again, reproductive rights has become a bigger issue with the Supreme Court ruling there. Sustainable governance, big one there is board diversity and oversight. That's been a big issue on the sustainable governance front. Let me go back to our PowerPoint. So we have actually seen a dip since last year, but an increase in, well, this is with waste, pollution, environmental management proposals, human rights proposals, at this date so far in 2023. Now, 2023 isn't done, so we haven't done as much, but we're still in the first quarter. You know, we're just getting out of the first quarter. So we still have a long way to go. And I think if you look at last year at this date, we are ahead of where we were before.
Yeah, we can see most Americans support solving these issues.
Yeah, good point. And if you're in an index fund, just some normal index fund, you know, some Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab fund, they are not voting on environmental, social governance issues. They're generally just voting with management on those issues. So if you want your votes to be in line with your values, if you want to make a change, you want to be in funds that are engaging with companies. Okay. Better outcomes for all stakeholders. Yeah, great. Biden vetoed the resolution. That's what we talked about. So there was a Republican plan to overturn the Department of Labor's investing rule, and that's done right now.
Yeah, the rule allows consideration of ESG, but it's not forced.
Yeah, I heard it started in Texas, the opposition, because they didn't want the fossil fuel companies to be excluded from portfolios.
That's right.
Because of those poor fossil fuel companies. So Vanguard, unfortunately, did leave the net zero asset managers, which is too bad. It wasn't a big part of their practice or portfolio, but it is a pity.
Now, BlackRock and State Street, they stay committed to the initiative.
Yeah, which is important. That's a great piece. Yeah, there's been a little backlash against ESG. It has been in the news quite a bit. Okay, should we talk about some of the ESG resolutions? I think that might be a good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Oh, actually, you've got a few here presented. Sorry. Yeah, Home Depot. This is a nice one. What, do you want to go through it or you want me to go through it?
Oh, you go.
Okay.
Better than I
The
think.
proposal passed, and it doesn't even need a majority vote to pass, because you know if you get even 35% or 40%, the index funds aren't voting on a lot of these issues. So it's only the active funds, and if you can show up, or individual shareholders, but if you can get enough momentum behind it, you can really, the companies can see the writing on the wall that there is some opposition, and even with a minority vote, you can make change. So it's not a democracy where you need some 50-50 vote. If you can just pressure them into making some change and showing that there's an issue. So deforestation, of course, fuels climate change. Home Depot is huge. Green Century, and they're really active. They're a non-profit mutual fund company. They asked them to, how can they eliminate deforestation, and they want some transparency in the supply chain, and that passed. Yeah, that's good to see. CEO total pay is on the rise. Oh, this is the CEO's total pay is on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
I think As You Sow has done a whole social media campaign showing the most irresponsible SEOs in their salaries compared to median workers. But this is 264 times that of median paid workers. Yeah, the CEOs are just raking it.
And there's the average, but then there are the most overpaid CEOs, which is crazy. Crazy high.
Yeah. I mean, they're making a lot of money for sure. And sometimes it's not even based on performance. I mean, sometimes it is tied to share price, but a lot of them, I think, As You Sow was highlighting some of these CEOs that weren't making their companies more profitable, still getting hugely overpaid.
Now, when shareholders see this, they oppose it.
Yeah, right.
Naturally.
So ESG efforts, there is a bunch of targeting of banks and financial institutions. I guess here's some others. Plans for Arctic drilling, refillable and usable containers, deforestation, disclosure of politics, agriculture. So we're looking at some other examples with Citibank, Kroger, agricultural supply chains, Disney with disclosure of political influence and contributions. Lowe's, along with Home Depot, have a plan. Show your supply chain. Coke, we said, was refillable, reusable, and Chevron with the Arctic drilling that I guess is going forward. Some other efforts, ExxonMobil assessing impairment risk, Travelers Insurance, transparency, craft climate transition plan, Tractor Supply climate action achieved. Let me just go to I'd like to go to the Proxy report, if I can make this a little bigger. Here are some of the examples, and I kind of like this because it shows who's doing the advocacy. Again, Trillium, a good advocate. As You Sow, a wonderful organization, engaging with lots of companies. Green Century's been really active this year. Mercy Investment Service, that's interesting. I haven't seen them as much. But they're looking at, emissions, Amazon reporting greenhouse gas emission goals, net zero greenhouse gas goals. A lot of them are towards the targeting, either reporting emissions or coming up with goals to try to meet those Paris emissions targets. A lot of companies are being targeted. Miller Howard, they're another one. We do see active or engaging with companies. You can also see some pension funds here. I did see New York Pension Fund in one of these. ConocoPhillips, Freeport, McMoran, Kinder Morgan. Some of these are being targeted. Let me run through. Those are general, just emissions targets. I'd like to run through another example of shareholder advocacy that's happening. Now, this is looking at some of the bigger banks, what they're financing, high carbon financing. There's New York Pension Fund, New York City Pension Fund. Reporting on climate, transition, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Goldman Sachs, they're financing. Pressure them, you can pressure the companies themselves or pressure where they're getting money from, for sure. Sierra Club is showing up, being active. greenhouse gas emissions financing, limit underwriting, and financing. So again, these are a lot of environmental emissions towards climate change. You know, as there becomes more and more pressure around climate change or making change there. Deforestation, make this a little bigger. Papa John's, some food, food mostly. Costco, looking at their supply chains. And if they're withdrawn, that's actually good. That means they've come up with an agreement. You can threaten. I mean, the first step is just engage with the company. Call them, meet with them, say, we have this issue, we'd like to make changes. How can we work with you to not impact your bottom line, but still make an impact? And if you can't work with them, then you can bring it to the shareholders. Or if they engage and do make changes, then you can withdraw. You can threaten to bring it to the shareholders and then pull back. So you see that a lot, where an agreement was reached and then the shareholders don't even need to vote on that resolution. Let's pull up some more of these. Environmental management on plastic pollution, number of companies targeted, animal welfare in supply chains. I guess this is agricultural practices, cage-free eggs, looking at that for restaurants, animal welfare. You can see PETA, Humane Society, bringing up a lot of these issues. Beyond investing, Green Century, we continue to see, and As You Sow, we continue to see as a big advocate for, or proponent for, these different issues. Trillium also showing up on a few of these. Pull up another list. Quite a bit, and again, this is a good way to make change. I mean, it would be great if the government could take care of a lot of these issues, but if the government, it's kind of this weird cycle. If the government isn't doing it, and of course they're getting support from companies who are helping them get elected, so that the government is doing a lot of the work for the companies, this is a way to bypass that system and look at a different way to make an impact. Animal welfare, these are all proposed by PETA. I think it's good to see organizations using this as a tool to make changes. Report on lobbying. I think this is a huge topic, or an important topic. Zevin, that's a good one. Boston Common, that's a good one. I mean, that's good that they're engaging. First Affirmative, and we're a member there. First Affirmative, they actually engaged with travelers, and they did have a good resolution and could withdraw the shareholder resolution. I think reporting, I was asking at one point, I remember the discussion about, do you want them to not support Republicans or only support Democrats or support? And someone said, if you just have them report and disclose what they're doing, that's enough pressure to get them not to support irresponsible practices. Or if you just make it transparent that we're paying to get this person elected, that really tells a lot about your company. And then consumers can have more information.
Yeah, that's right.
Election spending, these are all election spending disclosures, just political reporting. New York State Common Retirement Fund, again, we'll see Trillium, Zevin, As You Sow. A lot of these are, common names that keep showing back up. Calvert, that's good to see Calvert. They have a whole engagement team. And I guess value congruency is this topic. But political lobbying, influence, some of the companies, Google or Alphabet, AT&T, Amazon, Boeing, Coca-Cola, Comcast, Home Depot, Meta or Facebook, McDonald's, looking at global influence spending, political spending, lobbying alignment with net zero goals, church funds, a lot of different organizations getting engaged. Presbyterian Church. That's, again, I think it's encouraging. It's not just the big mutual fund companies or not that they're big, but the SRI mutual fund companies doing the engaging. Here's some other examples here of work, executive pay, gender, racial pay disparities, just reporting on where things are. We have got some funds engaging, Netflix, Marriott, Kroger, Kellogg, Visa, Walmart, pay disparity and CEO compensation, Apple, health and safety audits. So this is around work conditions, workplace bias policies, concealment clause risk, health and safety audits, sexual harassment, workplace bias policy for Wells Fargo. They're looking at Walmart, McDonald's, Etsy, IBM, Dollar General, Dollar Tree. Benefits, adopting sick pay policy, sick leave policy. That seems to be the main thread here. Transgender healthcare benefits for CVS, Denny's, FedEx, Macy's, Union Pacific. There's a big variety of issues that can be addressed through shareholder engagement. As owners of the company, you have a vote. Diversity at work, just diversity programs, hiring practices, reporting. They're looking at Adobe, Berkshire Hathaway, eBay, Eli Lilly, Halliburton, Honeywell, Target, Walt Disney, Universal Health Services, mostly in reporting diversity programs. They do have some around ethical financing. Oxfam America seems to be supporting quite a few of these with Chevron, Exxon, Microsoft, tax compliance metrics, but this is on ethical financing. Health outcomes. Now here's the reproductive rights. Again, with Roe v. Wade being overturned, there is a lot more push on reproductive health. Reports on risk of sharing abortion-related data, privacy protection, maternal health benefits, reproductive health rights risks. What can we generalize with this? We're looking at Google, Coca-Cola, Costco, CVS, Lowe's, McDonald's, Facebook or Meta, PayPal, and a lot of proposals to report on reproductive health rights risks, on the risks of sharing abortion-related data.
Mostly women rights.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, those are mainly women rights.
You got it. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, we're looking for other ways to make progress in those areas, or at least provide opportunities for women. Pharmaceuticals reporting on patent process, product access, drug pricing, subsidies, vaccine technology transfers, Moderna, Pfizer, Merck, a lot of these are the targets. Oxfam America, Trinity, Boston Common, Friends Fiduciary. Tobacco, reports on tobacco health risks. Trinity Health. Let me get to some other topics. There's quite a few. Again, we have over 540 different proposals. So there's quite a bit to go through. We can provide any information. If someone wants a report on the proposals that have gone out, about who's providing them, we can definitely provide more information. This is through As You Sow, their Proxy preview, and we can put a link in our blog, in our show notes, about where to get this. All you do is give them your email and you can get their report. This is looking at human rights, racial justice, impact and plan, human rights assessment, looking at fair food programs, Kroger, Lockheed Martin, human rights impact assessment. Domini Impact Investments are doing a couple of these, are proponents for a couple of these. Usually you'll have a lead filer, and then you'll have several other co-filers. So we're just showing here the proponent, but you can see, at times you will see multiple organizations supporting it. It's not always the same lead, because it is quite a bit of work. Trade union rights for Amazon, Apple, Chipotle, CVS. We see As You Sow, Trillium, New York State Common Retirement Fund being some of the proponents. Report, adopt trade union standards and reporting, access report, adherent to the trade union standards. Media and technology, report on online safety standards. We have Boston Commons Asset Management, Trillium. Azure Asset Management for Apple, looking at reporting on government censorship. As You Sow, Proxy Impact, Some of Us, Presbyterian Church, again, a variety of organizations, Baptist Church, reporting on asking Amazon about surveillance technology. There's being able to engage as simple as, supporting some of the organizations that are bringing up these resolutions, or investing in funds that are engaging in line with your values. And I think one of the big concerns is performance, and we have had, and we will continue to have reports showing the difference in performance between SRI funds and non-SRI, just broad index funds. You're really not sacrificing performance in the long run. Sustainable governance, board oversight, some of the funds, Harrington Investments, Share, Mercy Investment Services, As You Sow, Zevin, Episcopal Church. What they're looking for in sustainable governance is report on board oversight of human rights risks, establish board committee on public policy, oversight on climate change, oversight on staff levels, animal welfare, quite a variety here. Some of the companies they're looking at, here's ESG pay links, report on executive pay links to ESG metrics, report on retirement plan alignment with climate goals.
That's great.
What's that?
That's great.
Yeah.
Amazon
really encouraging. Some of the companies that they are bringing these up for, again, this familiar Google or Alphabet, Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan, Meta or Facebook. Campbell Soup, Microsoft, Netflix, CVS. So they are, addressing or coming up with shareholder resolutions with a big variety of companies. It's a big variety of organizations doing it in a variety of proposals. More anti-ESG established boards, committees on social politics and financial sustainability. Net zero, I guess, report ties to communist China. That's a pretty big issue here. Report biased account closures. That's for MasterCard. Anti-discrimination policies. Racial justice program, and this is for, we have a bunch of these, Home Depot, JP Morgan, Kroger, M&T Bank, MasterCard, McDonald's, Wells Fargo. Political influence again. Now some of these are a little redundant, but this report on public policy advocacy, on charitable contributions, just reporting. I mean, a lot of these are just reporting. They're not saying don't do it or do something differently. They just want the information so that investors, consumers can make their own decisions. I think we've covered quite a bit of these. Maybe I'll do one more area here. Climate change, majority votes. Yeah, there you go. There's some of the voting results already. And yeah, having a majority of shareholders voting in favor of something is very encouraging. Again, we see things pass even with a minority without majority votes. And then they do have a summary page just showing the companies. Excuse me. The types of resolutions that are being driven to or being addressed or brought up against these different companies. Quite a few, especially the larger companies, you'll see a lot more activity across a whole bunch of issues, a whole bunch of different areas. So I think that's a pretty good summary of where we are with the 2023 shareholder resolution season that's upon us. Anything else you want to add, Luis?
Well, I think that's all. We've given many examples of companies we see day to day in our lives, and we can relate to that.
Yeah. So I guess just to wrap up, we're AIO Financial. AIO Financial, if you need help with any aspect of your financial well-being, we work with clients on investment management, retirement planning, estate planning, tax planning, and insurance review. We're fee-only advisors. We don't get commissions. We don't sell any products. We're unbiased, just working for our clients. You can find us at AIOfinancial.com. Hopefully we're going to have a new website pretty soon. Let us know if we can help. We do have an SRI, Sustainable Responsible Impact Investing ebook that's free. Just go to AIOfinancial.com/SRI ebook, and you can download our free ebook. And it just gives you an overview of the 3 main ways to engage to make a change through your investments without sacrificing return. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to us. If you have any comments, please leave comments. Let us know what you want to hear about. If you have any opinion, if you want to see something different, let us know. again, the As You Sow report, we'll send a link to the As You Sow page so you can download their report. They've done an excellent job. They do it every year. It's a great summary of how organizations are engaging with companies to make change. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks. Till next time.